A new vaccine law is disrupting the start of the school year for scores of California students. KPX5's Maria Medina shows us hundreds of kids in Oakland School District are expected to miss class tomorrow.
Kindergarten.
I am so excited!
Solomon Guidry is ready for his first day of kindergarten. Because his mom made sure he would be.
We've learned that the vaccinations can really help.
Solomon is up to date with his vaccinations, but the Oakland Unified School District spokesperson says hundreds of other kids may not be on the first day of school tomorrow.
There could be a few hundred kids tomorrow that are not immunized, and so we'll be encouraging them as quickly as possible to get out there and get
Who
that
cannot
done.
come to school tomorrow.
Right. I mean, their parents may try to drop them off, and we'll have to turn them away.
A new state law that took effect on July 1st says moms and dads can no longer use personal or religious beliefs as a reason not to get their kids immunized, which means this school year, kindergartners and 7th graders must show proof.
It's been 5 years since Fukushima blew sky high, and it's been leaking highly radioactive material into our environment ever since. We have seen mutations take place around there. We have seen people die. And now, even the robots that they are sending in there are dying. That's how toxic this environment is. A lot of people justify not living on the West Coast due to the threat that Fukushima poses. The truth is, the West Coast has had its own problems with radiation even before Fukushima. We have Hanford, and there's other events that took place in California. Then there's New Mexico, the WIPP facility down there that's been leaking. Then, right in the middle of the country, we have the Westlake landfill that has an underground fire moving towards nuclear radioactive waste from making bombs. And then there's the East Coast. I've covered Indian Point in numerous videos, and it is leaking radioactive material and has a history of doing so right now in the most populated area in the entire United States. And then you have an explosion of a transformer at a nuclear power plant in North Carolina. Well, now we can add Miami, Florida to that list, as the nuclear power plant just south of Miami is leaking into the Biscayne Bay, and it's caused levels of tritium to spike 200 times higher than the normal levels. The name of this facility is Turkey Point. They state that a recent study blames the leaks on reactors' cooling canals, which were recently found to have caused a massive underground saltwater plume to migrate west, threatening a well field that supplies the drinking water to the Florida Keys. And a judge has recently found that Florida Power and Light has failed to prevent hundreds of thousands of gallons of radioactive wastewater from seeping into the bay. Anywhere you live, you need to check your surrounding area. You need to find out if there's a facility like this near you, where the waterways go to and from this facility or other facilities. Because you may not know it, but you may be literally bathing in radioactive waste, feeding it to your children, and have no clue, because they're not going to come out and tell you this. The St. Louis area is a perfect example of that. I will leave links. This is Spirit.
Company kept a dangerous secret from the public for 3 weeks. A massive sinkhole had leaked at least 215 million gallons of radioactive water into an aquifer. The mining company said workers first noticed the sinkhole around the end of August, but didn't tell anyone because they found no risk to the public. And it seems to be draining into an aquifer that provides drinking water to millions of people. It also feeds water into springs used for recreational activities. Locals around the sinkhole told Newsy's partners at WFTS that they're worried about the safety of their drinking water.
We have a well, and so if it ends up in the aquifer, it's going to end up with us.
But officials from the plant say not to worry. They took the necessary steps required by law when they first noticed the sinkhole. And the Florida Department of Environmental Protection confirmed the company immediately took steps to investigate and initiate corrective action. For Newsy, I'm Melissa Crax.
company in California wanting to bring back the dead by 2045.
The California-based company says it aims to extend and enhance life by freezing human brains for extended periods of time using a kind of low-temperature preservation.
After which the brains will be implanted into artificial bodies. But first, the company says it needs to figure out how to preserve the brain after a person dies. That seems like a big hurdle to overcome.
We're going to figure it all out first.
Great. But we're going to do it.
Right. I'll volunteer. Come and get it. There's not much up there. Come and get it. What do you guys think about that, though? Just creepy?
Yeah.
A little too early to process
creepy.
something like that?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, freeze what you want, but figure it out first. I want to do the science first.
You're going to have to be open-minded and adaptive to be able to deal with the complexity of the world that involves so many different dynamic elements that it's hard to describe in sentences. If the world of 1916 was complex, or the world of 1945 was complex, the world of 2016 is intensely complex. And I can tell you that from personal experience, and I know there's many others who can tell you that as well. And you will graduate and be in that world, and you're going to be leading the soldiers and the sailors, the airmen and the Marines in that world. You'll be dealing with terrorists. You'll be dealing with hybrid armies. You'll be dealing with little green men. You're going to be dealing with tribes. You'll be dealing with national leaders and local leaders. You'll be dealing with politics and economics. And you'll be dealing with direct fire and indirect fire. And you're going to be dealing with it all. And it's all going to be dealt with simultaneously. And for that, you're going to have to be ready. And that's why readiness, in my mind, is number one. You'll be dealing with terrorists. You'll be dealing with hybrid armies. You'll be dealing with little green men. You're going to be dealing with tribes. You'll be dealing with national leaders and local leaders. You'll be dealing with politics and economics. And you'll be dealing with direct fire and indirect fire. And you're going to be dealing with it all. And it's all going to be dealt with simultaneously. And for that, you're going to have to be ready. And that's why readiness, in my mind, is number one.